So this is my that was that's on the new record coming out. What's happening, everyone? Rob the Quiet. What's up? Good to see everyone. Got the black shirt on today. Okay, so just finished my new video, but I did not put it out right now. Basically, because I have to go back and watch it. And I filmed it with my good camera, like the last video, but to let me know what you think. It's always hit or miss with the lighting. Rhett helped me with the last video that looked good. Let's see, Philip. Put your Scherzo. Send the link to the. Put it on the. Send me a link on my Gmail. It's the address is here on the channel. Am I gonna play guitar in this one? You know what? I haven't touched my guitar in 3 days now. Oh, the new video is, I decided to do another installment in my What Makes This Song Great series. I won't do another one for another week or so. I'm going to get back to making music videos, teaching videos. But I wanted to make a second one with, and this one's a really, really good one. It's, well, you'll see what it is. It's a Police tune. Since I've been listening to Sting. What's up, Tom? This one's twice as long as the other video because this tune is way more involved. There's way more to talk about than there was in the Blink tune. This is one of the most complex pop songs ever. Am I going to do Scale Wars again? Ernesto asked. Yeah, I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. Brennan, so happy I put out these videos. So jealous I studied under George Russell. Wish George was still around. It's in my mind. He's in his 50s. There's just so many of the people there that were around back in the day and back at NEC. And it's weird when I see Miroslav Vitus, and I saw Miroslav all the time, and I think that he must have been in his 40s then. He's like an old guy now. Look who's talking, right? But it's weird when I see pictures of him. He just looks like an old man. And he probably would say that about me if he saw me. So, it's very hard. I like to think that I have a good memory, but I honestly cannot remember anything other than George's class and playing gigs in Boston then. I could not tell you what the name of any class that I took. It's not Synchronicity, Roberta. You're asking what the new video is on. It's not Synchronicity. It's a huge hit, though. Anyways, I don't remember anything from grad school. Nothing. I remember isolated events. I remember when John Schofield came. I remember when Bob Brookmeyer. Brett, you got it. You guessed it. That's my favorite Police. It's one of my favorite Police songs. It's one of the greatest pop songs ever written, and it's super complex. There are so many modulations in it. It's absolutely fascinating what the things that it does. I mean, going through the piano parts, the bass parts. Also, the tune is tuned a quarter step sharp, which I had to put a pitch change on because I couldn't figure out how to tune my piano, to tune a piano plug-in sharp, because you can't tune the real piano sharp, right? So I had to put a plug-in on and play through it, and there's latency on it, so it's really kind of weird to play. I'm playing with my left hand on the synth here, and it's every note's coming out about 10, 20 milliseconds late. But it's it's much more involved. The video's about 16 minutes long or so, because there's so many things to talk about. Guitar parts. I brought out my some of my old school pedals and things. One of my favorite pedals right here. This old school flanger. Whoa, oh, there we go. This is an MXR flanger like they had back in the day. I bought this along with my brother John. We each got one. I didn't buy it. Our mom bought it for us. She always had to buy two things for us. Now, like I said, my mom worked on the lines in a can factory, the American Can Company, and I don't remember how much this was, but this is an MXR flanger that is from 1978, and it works perfectly. MXR is a company that was based in Rochester, New York, where we lived. And this is the sound of the early Van Halen records. When you hear Eddie play, that is his sound right there. He's the Phase 90 as well, also. But our mom bought us each a flanger, and we both have it, and they both work. This thing weighs, no lie, 5 pounds. It is so solid. It's got the actual cable that's in it. It's got transformers in it, I believe, and it sounds phenomenal, and it works perfectly still. So to get those kind of some of those Andy Summers effects, you need to have those. I don't know if it was $60, Jim, back then. I think it was more. I think it was over $100 back then. It was not cheap. It was not cheap. It was that power cable is mean. It is nice. If you can find that one of those, think about it. It's 40 years old now. I bought that 40 years ago, and I'm using it in my new video that you'll see tomorrow. You will see it tomorrow, and or you will hear it tomorrow. I should have held it up, actually, that I was using it. Didn't think of that, but that was really kind of the sound of that era. And Phase 90, I've got one of those too. All their pedals they put out, you would think that that you'd get things cheaper because they were based in Rochester, but I absolutely love that pedal. My brother John, I don't know if he has it on his pedal board anymore. I think it's probably noisy compared to his compared to all the new pedals that are out nowadays. It's a little bit noisy. I don't care about that personally. When I go through effects, I go through only the effects that I need to use at the time. But if you can find that one, don't buy the ones that have the crappy power, the things with the adapters that plug in. They're nothing. They're nothing like nothing like these old ones. You got to get them from the late 70s, early 80s. Yukis, you said, see, my oldest pedal is an orange Ibanez OD. Let's see, manufactured in 74, 76. Crazy fuzz type sound. Yeah, those are, they really built these things incredibly well back then. Nowadays you can buy really nice, you can buy some really nice pedals and things. Everything is form fitted for to fit on pedal boards, so they make all these really really small pedals. Do I look tired? I tell you, my voice is a little bit tired today. There's no question about that. I eBay number Prince. You got it. They're probably going for, I bet, how much? $140? What do they go for on eBay now? Um, 159. There you go. What's your preferred tube amp? Um, well, on this one, so I used the Mesa Boogie on the first video. On this one, I use this, my Marshall JCM 2000, which is from 1999, the first year they came out. These are the best sounding ones that they made. And I use this because it has a great clean channel on it. The clean channel is essentially a JCM 800. So if you play through the clean channel and crank it up, that's really what a JCM 800 sounds like. It's a DSL. It's a JCM 2000 dual super lead. Um, so okay, so is everybody signed up to the forum now? David, you're worried that pedals will eventually be affected by planned obsolescence? I don't think so. Um, Electro Harmonics is making new type pedals all the time. Um, a lot of the pedal thing is doing incredibly well now. Um, Jimbo, oh, the rectifier, yeah, that rectifier it's a great sounding amp. How do you sign up to the forum? The forum is forum.rickbeato.com. Um, the C9 pedal, the Electro Harmonic C9. I haven't tried that. That's like an organ sounding pedal. What's up, Desmond? They're just making killer pedals now. There's so many good ones out there. Really, really just amazing. A lot of great companies. I don't want to necessarily single any out, but I own most of my pedals are very old. I own a few new pedals. There's a couple pedals I'd like to buy. Alan, have I ever changed the tubes in the JCM 2000? Yes, definitely. But but you don't need to change tubes. I've got two amps that are not working right now that I need to figure out what's going on with. I need to bring them to the amp shop. But my first order of business is to get my videos done and get the new Beato book cooking here. Um, Rob asked what I think of Amplitude and stuff like that. Amplitude. Well, there are some decent digital tubes that are digital. What do you call them? Plugins or they're not profiles, plugins. Universal Audio makes some good ones. They've got a lot of different ones. They make a Marshall Jubilee. They make a Chandler amp that sounds great. Amp simulators. Thank you. I forget what the terms are. You got your amp profilers. You got all this stuff now. Um, Positive grid. I have that thing. I'm not nuts about that. Um, they have the Friedman amp simulator. I mean, they will work in a pinch. I mean, any of these things will work in a pinch. But as I've been doing these new videos and using my amplifiers, it's um, it's really cool. I like this new setup of the amp 20 feet away, or the cabinet 20 feet away, and the amp right next to me. I think it's really, as you can see here, I think it just looks cool in the video, and it's great having the cab way back there. I love that. Hold on, put this back on here. What's my favorite guitar pickup? So, I've got some custom pickups in that Les Paul that you saw the other day that my buddy Dave put in that are, what's up, SB? The the pickups are replicas of old like PAFs from 59 Les Paul, and they're using vintage copper wiring or something, or I don't know. It's but they're supposed to be. My buddy Dave tells me they're as good of replicas as you can get, and he put them in. They were, I don't know, $275 or so for the pair, and they just sound killer. I mean, it sounds like an old school Les Paul. And Dave, when he's going to come in next week, he's my guy. I was telling you, yes, I think it's enamel wire. He was a guy that I was telling you about that does all my guitar work and is a phenomenal player. He said he's going to come in next week. He's going to be a guest here, and he has a 58 Les Paul that he brings. He'll bring it. He'll bring it here, and he plays it all the time. He gigs with a 58 Les Paul, a real one. I've ever heard of Reeves amps. Yes, they are basically high watts. Um, high watt is I was kind of disappointed with high watt made some really good amps, but the company was um, very poorly run, really really poorly run. Yes, it's a real 58, Alan. He literally plays it on gigs all the time. Um, it's a player's guitar. He's changed stuff out in it. And he's got the original pickups and everything, but he's probably changed tuning heads, refretted it. He's had it for years and years. I mean, it sounds amazing. It is so great to play. I mean, it's phenomenal. So high watts they made some great amps other than the custom 100 which I had. I had a high watt endorsement. They were distributed through Fernandez that made Fernandez guitars here in the United States. I don't know why they did this. We're going back 12 15 years ago, something like that. And they had a custom 20. They had a honestly, I don't even know. Are they even making amps anymore? I love the Who. That's why I love high watt. So I was really really happy with my high watt amps. So I had a deal with them that I got the amps at cost, but it took 2 years to get one, and they were almost impossible to find. Um, I mean, I gave up on the company. The guy that was the distributor, he's oh, your amp will be ready in a month. Then it was 2 months. Then it was so I don't even know if the company is what they're doing now. If they're making amps as we speak. Okay. So I really think that I'm a huge fan of high watts. I love the Who. Um, they're not good now. I honestly I gave up on talking to that company at least probably 15 years ago. Um, they sound like Mad Amp Orange during their worst years. Poor leadership. Yeah. Oh, terrible leadership. What's the difference between a high watt and JCM 800? They're totally different amps. High watt's a very clean, tons of headroom. They have a. It's really hard to describe the power that a high watt has. When you hit a chord, it just is, man, it's just so, it has so much oomph to it. I can't describe it. Um, they're incredibly loud. And they just have kick. I'm trying to think of the word. They really, really have a kick to them. One that's in great shape. But you know, I'm a big fan of the old Orange amps, and I love the graphic. OR120, OR120, and the early Orange amps. I think that they're phenomenally great amps. All those amplifiers are all British too. High Watt, Orange, Marshall, Vox. I mean, what do you know? It's unbelievable. All those amps, all the best amps, other than Fenders, are all from England. Um, Anyways, so amps with bad teeth. That's not nice. Uh, so the JCM 800, though, I've owned a number of JCM 800s as well. Probably 10, something like that. I don't know. Um, and they're incredibly inconsistent. When you get a great one, though, man, it's they're really, really unbelievably great sounding. But I'm actually sorry I sold all my Orange amps. I really am. I I had some really nice ones. Really, really nice ones. What about PV? I have one PV amp. I have a 6505 Plus, which I have not turned on in um oh God, probably 5 years. Why did I sell my Orange amps? That's a great question. I We had this thing around the studio with my assistant Ken, and you know, there were certain amplifiers that we wouldn't use ever because it wasn't that we needed the space. We would pull up an amp, and if you said, and it really was dependent on the type of bands we were using. I mean, how many 100-watt heads do you need? What's up, Michael? It's I should turn on my 6505. I think that Ken's probably used it. He's probably turned it on. I just never turn the stuff on. I got that amp as a from when Dave Ellefson from Megadeth was there. He was the guy at the artist rep at the time when I got it, which was probably more than 10 years ago. Long, long, long time ago. So, but it's a great sounding amp. It's a 5150 plus. That's what it is, you know. So, and I have the EVH amp that with the 3 channels that was one of the original ones. It wasn't free though, Ray. No, all the free stuff you started. I don't know if I've ever gotten anything for free, honestly. Um, Ellefson was much nicer than Mustaine, no question about it. Break out the Eastman. I have not touched the Eastman. Um, I should power up electronics once a year, Prince said, so the capacitors don't die. Um, the guitar you got for free. Yeah, I mean some things. I mean I've gotten a few things for free. Are Ampegs any good? Rob asks. Well, I have an Ampeg sitting over there that is an Ampeg V2 50-watt head that is a killer amp, along with the Ampeg cabinet. I'm trying to see where it is. I think it's behind some stuff. I can see the cabinet here, but I love Ampegs. So Ampeg, a lot of the Rolling Stones sounds from their really good period were Ampegs, the VT22, the VT. Essentially, you had the V4 and the V2, and then they had combo amps that were really the same amps. Um, and like Queens of the Stone Age used Ampeg amps, and they have a really unique sound to them. They have these switches for mid range, for low end, and they're great. If you get a good sounding one, they're killer sounding. Have I ever played through a Supro? Yes, I have. I played through a Supro, and honestly, the new Supros are great. The one that is the Jimmy Page one is excellent. Ray asked what would be my desert island amp. Probably, I would say my Vox AC30, which I love, but it's too heavy. It's too awkward to carry. If it's on the desert island, um, they can be kind of finicky. Roberta asked to describe the sound of an Ampeg. Oh man, what I need to do is I need to do I need to go through my amps and make a video on how my amps sound. That might be a cool video, actually. Um, have I ever played a Vox guitar or organ? Yes, both. Robert, you sold your Lab Series L9 in college. You miss it so much. Well, I had a Lab Series L5, which was a killer amp. It was a solid state amp, 100 watts, super loud, had a compressor built into it, and and that's an amp that Alan Holdsworth used. That's an amp that that BB King used. He used Lab Series amps. They were made by Norland, and then they were bought by Gibson. Um, I would prefer an acoustic in a desert island. Couldn't power an AC30. Exactly. Any thoughts on Hughes and Kettner? I had an endorsement with them. I've had endorsements with pretty much every guitar company you can think of, and I thought their amps were okay. I didn't think they were great. I didn't explain why I got rid of my Orange amps. Well, Orange makes some good heads still. They're Ty Tabor uses Lab Series too. Sean just pointed out. Yes. Holdsworth used Hughes and Kettner's. Holdsworth always sounded the same no matter what he used, so it's really hard to say. So Orange, their U.S. distribution is out of Atlanta. It's probably 15 minutes from here. So I met the guy through a friend of mine that is the artist rep, and I used to go over there, and every time that they had new stuff. Hey Andre, what's up? Anytime that they had new amps out, they'd call me up. I'd go over and try them out. And they knew I would buy them and they would sell them to me at cost. I mean, one time I went over there and I bought a Rocker Verb 100 and a Thunderverb, I don't know, their first one they came out that was incredibly powerful. They gave me the two amps for $2,000. And and each amp was like $2,500, something like that. They gave them to me for a total of $2,000. I mean, insane deal. I love their AD30. I thought it was a killer amp. They have some custom shop amps that are really really great. But their Rocker Verb 100 and Rocker Verb 50 are fantastic sounding amps, and they're very versatile. I mean, I'm not nuts about the clean channel, but they're not bad. Now, how do I compare it to an OR 120, which is the orange 70s head that has a high gain and has three knobs? This is how you know it from the OR 120, the OD or Orange Overdrive is the amp for it, and or is the name for it, and it has a bass, mid, and treble control on it, and then it has a 7-position FAC switch on it, which changes the low end. It has different capacitors in it apparently, and it has 7 different settings. As you turn it uh, clockwise, I believe it removes low end from the amp. Um, it's got 3 knobs, but it has a preamp knob and a master volume, and then the FAC, and it doesn't have three knobs. It has more than 3 knobs. It's got the preamp volume, then it's got bass, mid, treble, then it's got master volume, then it's got the FAC knob. And I thought that was the best amp that Orange ever made, along with the Graphic, their first one. Overdrive 120. Um, I remember one time Kip Winger came here to my house, and he came with his wife. It was right after I moved in, right after I bought the house, probably 2006 or so. They were in town. They came over and hung out, and and he came down here to the studio, and he's like, "What is that amp?" And I said, "It's an old Orange." And I said, "Check it out." And I had it, and I had and I cranked it, and he was just he was blown away by how good it sounded. He said he was like, "Man, that sounds amazing." And Kip has a great ear for tone, and he was really really impressed with it. And I said that I told him I had bought about 5 different ones until I got one that I liked. I would buy these things on eBay. Um, and you just buy them blindly. There was no way to check them out. You just would look at them, you look at the condition, you hear what the people say about them, and then you'd spend a couple $1,000s on eBay. Um, and I mean, it's hard to believe that I would spend that kind of money on amplifiers, but there were certain sounds that I was going for, that I heard in my head, that I wanted to hear and I wanted to be able to get, and and I would be frustrated. I didn't want to use pedals to get them. I wanted the amp to make the sound with no. I didn't want to say, oh, I'm going to take my Vox and I'm going to put a tube screamer here. Then I'm going to go into this Bogner pedal. I'm going to do that and I'm going to make it sound like a Bogner. No, forget that. You want it to sound like a Bogner, you get a Bogner. You get a Shiva, or you get a what is it? Ecstasy. Great amps. Um, yeah, Kip is a very talented guy. I'll get him on for an interview. He's a dear friend. Known him forever, and he's a really the Uberschall. Okay, that's the one. But that one has too much gain. That's not the one that I dig, Nick. It's the other one. That is it. The Ecstasy. I forget it. Um, I think that they make some really great amps. So I mean, I've gotten rid of some really nice amplifiers, no question about it. Um, I just didn't need all that stuff. I didn't need to have 50 guitar. I literally had 50 guitar amps. It's like a joke. If you go to my Facebook page, I have the picture there on the. I showed you that one of all my amps that I used to have. I thought it was on the desktop here. I can't find it, but yeah, there it is. I'm gonna show it again here just so you can see it. Let's see here. Let's see if I can change it. I have to do OBS here. Hold on. Let's see if I do this. See if it does it here. Now hold on. Now that does like infinite thing here. How do I do it exactly? That doesn't work. It doesn't work. Huh. No. I don't remember how to do it anymore. Man, how do I not remember how to do this? It's ridiculous. I cannot remember how to do it. I don't remember what the command is. I changed the thing. So there's John. Where's Aaron? I know, right? Do I have a super memorizer? Right, exactly. No, it's Shift D, or it's a Command D, but I kept it's not making the correct switch for some reason. I don't know why. I think I messed around with it. 4186.01 hertz for the high C8 double X. So I didn't forget it. There you go. How about Petrucci's signature Mesa amp? You know, my brother John, who's on here right now, and I were talking about that yesterday, literally. I've not played one. John has played one. John, what do you think of it? I know the single channel amp that it's based on, but John says the amp, there he goes. He says it's the best, maybe their best. The thing about it is that the clean channel has the graphic EQ as well, so it has two graphic EQs on it, and the amp that it's based on is one of their best amps they ever made. So I'm thinking that they took one of the best amps that they ever made and they added an EQ to the clean channel, and it sounds even better. So I tried calling. There's a guy that's the artist rep at Mesa that I bought a few Mesas from. And it's his name's Tian Lawrence. I called him a bunch of times. I called him right when I did the video the video with John Petrucci, and he never called me back. John plays a Mark V, actually, or I think, John, are you playing the Mark V, the mini one? Is that right? Double K? I say double Lek. I say double Lek because that's double Lek 321. Double K. There you go. Aunt Penny does not do favorites. I'm going to call you Double Lek because I just put it all together. If you don't use your real name, that's what you get called. Okay, Double K. What's up, Elliot? Good to see you. Excellent. That's good news about the Beato book. Well, Elliot, the new edition of the Beato book is literally about 10 pages from being done, and it's completely redone. You're going to totally dig it. It's all going to be printed. Kinch, your Sir SH100 is one of the best sounding amps, full stop. What's it sound like, Kinch? I've played a couple Sir guitars that are really, really fantastic. And I've never played one of their amps, honestly, because I don't know of a place that has one, really, here in Atlanta. This is one of the weird things, Double K, 1111. We have no camera shops here in Atlanta. You literally can't go and try and buy a lens anywhere. You can't. Oh, Roberta's asking John about the guitar that got away. The white Les Paul was actually the better Les Paul that I gave to John. So I gave him the black Les Paul, I got the black Les Paul. I gave it to John. I don't know what happened to that. He did something with it. Then I got a white Les Paul custom, which I loved. And then I eventually gave that to John, and John gave that. It traded that for a Kramer that has a scallop fingerboard. The Beato book is still a PDF, and it will be a PDF always. I mean, there might be the new Beato book. Yes, it'll be. I don't say free upgrade. I call it pay what you want. It could be free, but Double K. You were reading a crazy story about a kidnapping in Atlanta a year ago. Some guy. I have no idea about that. I didn't hear anything about that. So, no. And I don't know. John really doesn't know. Wait, Brett. You said the reason he went boutique bass buying. The nearest shops are 1,000 miles away. Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. But how can Atlanta not have a camera shop, right? They had a place that closed last year that was a great camera shop. They had all high-end stuff, but they can't compete with B&H. Rhett has a new light that he got that I'm thinking of buying. Just it's $75. It will do a mixture of white lights and tungsten. Tungsten is our yellow lights. And Atlanta does have a camera shop. It's called Amazon. I know, but come on. It's ridiculous. You can't go to a camera store. There is one place that I bought my my overhead mic that has the vertical mount. But yeah, it's not anywhere near here. So Kinch says that his Sir mic sounds like a 71 Plexi with a better transformer. Scott Henderson and John made many iterations with the idea of making it exactly like Scott's Marshall. If it passed Scott's and John's thumbs up, you can imagine. That's cool. No camera store seems like a good business opportunity, right? Yeah, you weren't around in the early 80s when people used guitars other than Les Pauls. That's true. I mean, that is true. Is that that people did use other guitars in the 80s. I mean, they did. Neil Schon played a Les Paul with a Floyd Rose on it. I mean, come on. They routed it out and put a Floyd Rose on it. Horrible. Although it sounded great. So, I really would like to. I would like to try some of these boutique amplifiers out, and honestly, some of these boutique guitars. John, you just sold that Kramer for $1,200. What? The fingerboard, John had the fingerboard scalloped on the Kramer. John, did you buy it scalloped, or did you scallop it or did you have someone scallop it? I think he scalloped only the on the high side from the 12th fret above, something like that. Go Bigsby or go home. There you go. Yeah, online buying has made it hard. Richard said it right there. Online buying has made it hard for small shops of any kind. Look, the first stores that were gone here in Atlanta, as far as music stores, the first store was Midtown Music that I bought so many things. You could go in anytime to this place and find a Marshall cab. The guy Dave that owned it always had 5 Marshall cabs. My buddy that you're gonna meet, Dave Honorato. This is a different Dave, but Dave worked there. And Dave that owned the shop he'd always have at least 5 vintage Marshall cabs. 450 bucks for any of them. Doesn't matter, you know. He'd always have Marshall sitting around. Any kind. And then he'd have some old orange amps, everything. This is really before eBay got up and running. I'm talking the late 90s into the very early 2000s. And then eBay killed his business. I mean, it just did. And almost all the small music stores closed here. They opened the Guitar Center and a Mars Music. Mars Music closed. There's a really good place called Atlanta Discount Music that's here that has tons of gear to check out. It's got a lot of guitars, used stuff, everything. It's a great store, and it's pretty much the only place I'll go to look at stuff. Brett, is 48th Street, does it have any guitar shops anymore? It probably doesn't. I'm sure that they can't even afford to have guitars. They probably have one Sam Ash or something. So look at John. He's got a modded Marshall that weighs 100 pounds. It's a combo, and his Mesa V5 is just a head. But it's it weighs, how much does it weigh, John? 16 pounds. It's not as loud as your Marshall. Come on. It's ridiculous. No way. Manny's is there, Guitar Center. 48th Street is done. I mean, it's sad. I mean, that was the best place to go. It was amazing back in the day. Manny's closed on 48th. Oh, brother. Alan, you don't think eBay killed any business? It killed businesses. It killed stores that dealt in used business. They couldn't. They couldn't. Everybody could see the prices, what things were worth, and people did not know. I know because I bought tons of gear back then. People would find stuff on eBay. The nice thing about this place, Midtown Music, is that you could go try the stuff. And that's really, that's one of the drags about with the no camera shop. You know, you can't look at stuff. You want to see what they look like. You want to talk to people that know things about this. I mean, I can call B&H and ask them about lights, for example, but they don't know what my setup is. I can't sit and talk to them about this stuff and tell them what I need it for. And I don't have the base knowledge of you know, in video or in using cameras, for example. I mean, I don't know really about aperture. I mean, I know some, but you know, I don't know about what the frame rate, how it looks different. I hear Rhett tell me, well, if I use 24 frames, it's going to look more like film. And I'm using a 29.97 frame rate, 30 frames per second right now for my videos. But I was on 60 on my nice camera, and I didn't even realize it because I don't even know how to run the thing. So I'm using my new I'm using my good camera on the new video you're going to see tomorrow with the police. So you guys can tell me, I mean, did people notice that my last video, the Blink-182 video, that I used my nice camera? I mean, does it matter? Does anyone care? Tell me the truth. What does it matter if I use a nicer camera or if I use my iPhone? I'm really, yes, it matters. I don't have to be an expert at everything. Looked good, but lighting helps. Doesn't matter. You care. Yes, it matters. Sure. New video looked better. Use the nice camera. I didn't just use the nice camera. I used this as well. I mean, a lot of stuff I can do direct, but I use this too. This Zoom thing for the audio, where I replace the audio. I'm not using the camera mic, even though I have a nice camera mic, a nice Shure mic mounted on top of the camera. But the stereo microphone is. You noticed, William, you said you noticed the edits and less grain on the image. Yeah. Yes, camera matters, but lighting is very important. Well, Rhett did the lighting. And interesting here. You use a Rode NTG for videos. Show you my most expensive guitar. You see it. My most expensive guitar is probably my this one, my Gibson. No doubt is my most expensive guitar. I mean, it's probably, I don't know how much it's worth. 3,000. You know, it's probably worth maybe $4,000 or something like this. 5,000. I don't know. 3,000. Who knows? It's 57. It's in great shape. I have a couple dings in it that I need to get fixed. I scraped it right here with a capo, which my buddy Dave said he can fix that because that really bothers me. But, you know, the guitar is actually, I mean, it's got some dings in the back, but for a 57, it's in killer shape. Yeah, it's a 1957 Country Western. See inside there? And it's basically the size of a J45 Dreadnought guitar. And it's incredible. It sounds amazing. It's a 60-year-old guitar, though. Of course it's going to sound amazing. So Kinch, you can tell the difference, significant difference. It was a bit dark, but who cares? Rhett did the lighting. He said he thought it looked good. He said, he goes, the dark lighting looks good there. So but I need to get some different lights, because the problem with it that Rhett was telling me is that in the back here, I have all tungsten lights, or I'll have all yellow lights. You see, incandescent lights. And then in the front, I have white lights, these lights over here. You see that light right there, the light box light there? Those lights are white lights, and you can't blend the two. Sorry, I know it looks like Blair Witch right now. Hold on. You can't blend the two. So what I've been doing, I've been shooting with the white lights in front of me, and I've got the yellow lights in the back, and you can't color correct it properly. So now, as you notice, because the screen is lighting me up here with white light essentially, right? And I look really washed out. I would look less washed out if I pulled down this white thing here. You see that? Look at that. Because you can see what I'm doing on the screen there behind me. I'm pulling my iTunes down, which makes me look... yeah, now it's LEDs. Get the correct temperature LEDs. So Rhett has a light that has both white lights and tungsten lights on it, LEDs. And each one has a knob, and you can blend them, or you can use just one or the other. How did I get my hair so white? I know, right? Because I'm related to you. Color balance is bad. You always thought I was goth. There you go. So anyways, I'm trying to iTunes even makes me iTunes even makes me look bad. You see? I mean, there you go. I don't like that, Michael. You know, it's interesting. The flux, the nighttime switch for the on the screen, I don't like. I wonder if it's on right now. Hold on. No, it's not. Oh man, I just opened up a screen there. Oh boy, sorry. Um, for the film noir look, add a fedora. There you go. White beats bald. Um, did I comb my hair today? No. John's hair stands up too like that. I mean, I can't really do anything to it. It always looks like that. I don't know why. When it's this length, it just does that. iTunes is getting revenge for that. Our mom had better hair than both of us. Our mom, when she was 90, had the thickest head of hair. I mean, amazing head of hair. I mean, it was so dense. It was great. My hair is 11 out of 10. That's pretty good. Any hair is good hair. What's up, Maurizio? Anyways, Kramer guitar, Kramer hair. Alan, just tell us why I got rid of the orange amps already. Because I don't know why. There's no good answer to that. The couple amps, most of them I got rid of because they were okay, but the good ones, the Rocker Verb 150 were great amps. 8030 was a great amp. That was pretty much it with their new amps. I don't like the little tiny terrors. I don't like any of that stuff. Junk. The Retro 50, terrible. Did not like it. Who did I sell those amps to? I can't even remember. I don't even remember this. I mean, they're years ago now that I sold them. They made an AD50 custom shop guitar that I believe you could run it in Class A or Class AB. It was really, really, really versatile amp. Great son. John uses the Micro Dark Terror. I don't care for any of those amps. Alan, you accept and digress. They do look cool, Double K. I love orange amps. I love the look of them. They're really, really great looking amps. But I think the amps from the 70s, the orange amps from the 70s, look better anyone's, and they sound better. The old ones and new ones sound completely different. They're totally different amps. So orange, they closed up orange in the 70s, and somebody bought them in the early 90s, bought the name, and they made some decent amps. They made a couple different amps that they made a reissue of the Overdrive, Orange Overdrive, and it sounded great. And then Gibson or somebody bought them, and then they were terrible. And then they went out of business, and they came back in business again. So, wait. Brett asked me, favorite jazz amp for my Eastman jazz box. I don't have an amp for it. So, I'm not sure what you use for it. Do I use a, I'm not sure what I'm going to use for it. I'm really vacillating on the Axe-Fx. I think the Axe-Fx is cool. I think it'd be great if I was doing sessions, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I have a Fender Deluxe, a really nice one. I've talked about it on here, that Peter Stroud, who's a great guitar player, modded and made it it's a blackface Deluxe now, which he put 6L6s in it, so it has incredible, 6L6s. It has incredible headroom. It sounds unbelievably good. But I'm not sure if that's going to be the right amp for, John, send it to you. You'll trade it for something inferior. Um, you know, maybe a polytone amp might be nice. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't honestly. I plugged it in at the store and it sounded great with that P90. Really sounded great, but I obviously don't need a big amplifier with it. So I might get a. I'm not going to use a Fender though. I don't think I'm not going to use a Fender. I might get a. Maybe I'll get a Polytone or a. Um, or maybe I'll get a Standell like Wes used to use, solid state. Um, the thin body Eastman is mahogany solid state. So mine's not a thin body, Michael. They have actually two different thin bodies because I tried them, and one of them is mahogany, I think, and one of them has a spruce top, and I thought it was maple, and it's a lot more expensive. Roberti, you can't wait till Saturday to hear about Dylan's oboe lesson. I have to remember that. Um, he's such a pain with that. He says, you know, when he's playing through the reed last night, and I said, Dylan, is that a high C? And he just, you know it is. It's like, what? Dylan, if I knew what it was, then I wouldn't have asked you. Because at your lesson, you were playing on B flat. You couldn't get up to the C. He won't even answer what one note is now. John admitting he traded a Les Paul for something inferior is killing you. I know. Look, John admits it. John admits it. I respect that completely. Look, I was the one that gave him the guitars, both Les Pauls. I shouldn't have gotten rid of them. It was actually my fault. I should have. One time it seemed completely rational, right? Exactly. John, you have a standout. You do really from '67 with 410s. How's it sound? Michael, Dylan's already showing signs of teenager disgust. Oh yeah. Oh, he's been like that forever. Next time, phrase the question: is that 4186.01 hertz? Or is that 261.63 or whatever middle C is? 261, I think, right? 0.62. Tweenager, right? Gibson's totally fallen out of favor at this point. I mean, so the old Gibsons are fine. Who would buy a brand new Gibson? I would never buy one. Not in a million years, you know? Junk. I talked to the guy that I owns the store I bought my new Eastman from, and he was a Gibson dealer, and they make you buy all this stuff, and then when they came out with those stupid tuning head things, the dumb square things, that's when he stopped carrying them. Michael said Peerless guitars. You know who plays is Peter Smart, who will watch this tomorrow. Peter plays the Peerless guitars, and he loves the sound of them. And the guy from Peerless actually wrote to me, but I can't buy a guitar that I can't play. So, anyways, that's kind of the one thing that I got to draw the line there. John, so loud and thin could be just your ears. Two knobs. Sound of 410 is great. The auto tuners, that's right, Kinch. Horrible. So dumb. How they could have thought that was a good idea. I mean, don't they use these things? Doesn't somebody try them out? It's like the new iPhones. Aaron showed up here today. Oh, by the way, I got a lot of good multi-tracks from Aaron today that I'm going to use in there that I hope don't get taken down. I've got some Max Martin huge hits that are really remarkable, the production values. And you may hate the songs, but once you watch my video, you will appreciate the sounds. You'll appreciate how good the stuff sounds, and how good the parts are. Do I think I can do the song? Steven's asked me if I can do the song All of This. It's one with Robert Smith from The Cure collaborating with Blink. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm trying to do ones that I have the sessions to. Kinch, doesn't somebody try them out? I mean, really. Demo your Eastman through the FX system. All the Small Things was a great choice of video when you break down all the small things. Yeah, like I said, the Police video that's coming out tomorrow is much more complex. I knew it was complex, but it's really super sophisticated musically. It's unbelievable how well thought out Sting's the arrangement is. I mean, so I'm doing Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, and it's there's nothing like it. There's never been a song like that. It's really incredibly original for a hit song, right down to where it repeats, where it goes back to the verse with a new melody on the end of the fade. It's unbelievable. Troopin' 420, I haven't seen you before. That is Manufacturing America Day across the board, period. If you work production, you don't get time to check. You get yelled at if you take too much time and care. Well, there you go. And let's see here. Yeah, the when you hear the tracks soloed, it's really unbelievable. It's really great. Tech Time, Mark, Thunderbolt 3 HP PC compatibility. Don't know about Thunderbolt 3. Haven't tried it. So, Ray, thoughts on Foreigner? Ask John. He knows Lou Gramm, I'm sure. John, you know Lou Gramm? I'm sure you met him before. I saw Foreigner play here. I went with a singer from my old band, Mark, in 1998 or so, and they were So Lou Gramm from Foreigner is from Rochester. That's why John knows him. He knows, and they played here, and they were unbelievably good. They had a drummer, some young guy that was incredible. He threw his sticks up in the air. It must have been 20 feet and caught them right on beat. It was unbelievable, and played just the most killing grooves. So Lou Grammatico is his real name. He's a paisan. He's Italian. I've got some Foreigner multi-tracks too, but I got some great ones today that I haven't even checked out, that Aaron found me. I got some from the first Pearl Jam record. Black I got today, which I love, and I haven't even listened to it. I listened to Jeremy today, so I've got that. That one I might do a video on, because that's an incredibly sophisticated melody in that tune. Really intervallic. Let's see here. John says Steve Walsh from Kansas had a great voice. That's true. We were talking about that the other day. Thoughts on Alice Cooper? I like Alice Cooper. Do you Beatos ever sleep? John sleeps less than me. He sleeps about 2 hours a night. He works full time too. Beatos sleep. I took a nap. I took a nap before dinner. I went and lay down for 45 minutes or so. I always lay down until Layla comes in and says, I got to tell you something. And I don't know why she always has to announce to me that she has to tell me something. So anyways, all right. Well, listen, I'm good here. I got to go. I got to get back to work on stuff because I'm going to go through the video right now and see if there's any edits I need to do. And Brett, good to see you. I'm going too. John has a 6-year-old too. I've got a 4-year-old. He's got a 6-year-old. You know, you can't sleep. There will be jazz songs in my series. Of course there will be. There will be, there's going to be all types of songs. There'll be classical music in it. You guys are awesome. I'll see you later. Check out the video. I'm going to put it out first thing in the morning. Probably, 8 o'clock or so it'll be out. 8 a.m. All right? I'm going to pause and then quit.